In the production vehicle category, the championship was a straight fight between veterans Wilfred Vesselaar and Dagmar Blankner and young Craig Hopkinson and Martin Spencer.
Gonna go up there today and take it easy, try to get a good start position for tomorrow, and tomorrow I'm gonna go for it. Have to beat Wilfred.
The danger men for Hopkinson and Spencer were Eastern Province crews Selwyn Robertson and Davy van der Walt. With the 250 motorcycle title already wrapped. In the commercial vehicle championship, the major issue was who would finish second to Alfred van Vieren and Piet Pelzer. Former champions R.P. Reinicke and Lucas Dreyer were hoping to end a dismal season on a high note, and rookie Wiley Harrington was after Class 5 honours.
I've still got a possibility of winning the Class 5 championship, and that's all I'm working for in my infant year of off-road racing.
The commercial vehicle championship was in the bag for Alfred van Vieren and Piet Pelzer, and they could also afford the luxury of a relaxed event. It was a different story in the 500 motor. With Wade and Grant Perrin still having to drop points in terms of the championship format, the Special Vehicles Championship was a straight fight between Klaus Degener in the BP Chenoweth and Richard Schilling in the Motortech Race Co. The return of Bux Carolan and Kenny Scholthammer placed a little extra pressure on Degener and Schilling, although Carolan was in a casual mood.
We've just come here really to have a bit of fun. This car is actually 90% sold, and I just wanted to give it one last chance, and Kenny and I decided that we'd come back and try and make this one 3 in a row, because we're getting tired of Schilling with winning 3 roofs in a row, so we've won this race twice, and we want to try and make it 3 in a row.
For Mnet Lesotho Sunroof of Africa winners Richard Schilling and Ashley Thorne, victory was a must if they were to sneak the title, with Schilling in a confident mood.
Off-road racing is not a very predictable thing, but having won the last 2, I'd like to make a hat-trick in the national season, as you did on the roof.
There was pressure too for championship leaders Klaus Degener and Jeff Bell. Always a fighter, Degener is never one to shirk a challenge.
But the whole aim of the game is to ensure that we win the championship. We're leading the championship. The only person who can beat us is Richard Schilling. He has to win. He has to win the race overall. We have to come worse than second overall to lose it.
Jeremy Davies won the short 58-kilometre race in Section 1 to determine start positions for the motorcycles for race in Section 2. He was closely followed by Alfie Cox, Willie Ireland and Patrick Andrews. On the car side, Bux Carolan and Kenny Scholthammer took pole position, followed by Richard Schilling and Ashley Thorne, with Linton Draper and Mike Pretorius third in the Isuzu. Problems on racing Section 1 meant Klaus Degener would have to produce another of his familiar charges through the field.
You never write off Klaus. I'm sure he'll be going like hell, and the one thing when Klaus really goes quickly is he concentrates, and he tends to fall off a little bit less than when he's relaxed.
For those who enjoy a little Saturday lie-in, the customary off-road early morning start was mercifully put back an hour or 2. There was a good turnout from Vetna residents and farmers from the surrounding areas when Bux Carolan and Kenny Scholthammer led off the field with a tough 450 kilometres ahead of the crews. Richard Schilling and Ashley Thorne were followed by the radical Linton Draper Mike Pretorius Isuzu, which was a centre of attraction all weekend. In hot pursuit were Springbok Rally stars Cassie Coetzee and Richard Leek, who were also looking for a return to top form. Race cam action is from the Coetzee Leek Toyota at high speed through the streets of Vetna. Out in the country, Bux Carolan and Kenny Scholthammer were acting as pathfinders for those behind them. At the same time, the pair were trying to set a pace that would make them hard to catch. Richard Schilling and Ashley Thorne were doing the chasing. The pair were in devastating form late in the season and were looking for their 3rd championship win in a row in the Caledon. Not far far behind them were Linton Draper and Mike Pretorius, who've had a torrid time this year in developing the impressive Isuzu with plenty of V8 power at their disposal to perform to its maximum potential. The ever-consistent Alfred van Vieren and Piet Pelter were again up among the front-runners in the dealer team Toyota. Some good duels were developing early in the race, and not far behind them were Class 5 rivals Wiley Harrington and Johan Gerber in the privately entered Toyota, which was running minus bonnets. Richard Caledon, elder brother of Bix and affectionately known as Obut, was also running steadily in the single-seater lubrication equipment race co. With no navigator, the single-seater drivers are at slight disadvantage and rely heavily on consistent route marking. Bloemfontein driver Theo Coetzee and Ian Wedderburn were showing early good form in the imported Chev and were chasing Class 4 rivals Cassie Coetzee and Richard Leek. More racecam action from the Coetzee Leek Toyota illustrates that off-road racing is no Sunday drive through the park. The Coetzee-Leek combination was looking good, with Selwyn Robinson and Darby van der Walt turning out to be the surprise package in Class 7. They held a healthy lead over Production Vehicles Championship contenders Craig Hopkinson and Martin Spencer. Brothers Wade and Grant Perrins were also going along comfortably enough at the head of the Class 10 field. Class 2 leaders and Production Vehicle Championship leaders Wilfred Veslau and Dagmar Blankner were not in the mood to take chances. After years of faithful service, the Astoria Bakery VW, dubbed the Bread Van, will be retired at the end of the season. Suitably attired for a drive through the countryside in a Jeep, Cliff Barker and Mike Redden were in control of Class 6 in the SVM. Back at the start, the Bike Brigade was the winner. This rather large fellow showed what he thought of TV cameras and off-road racing, with leaders Bix Carolyn and Kenny Scholthammer the first of a string of cars and motorcycles that were to disturb his morning. Richard Schilling and Ashley Thorne were holding station in second place, but not far behind them were Linton Draper and Mike Pretorius in the awesome Draper Plant Hire Isuzu, who were closing on the two crews ahead of them. There was plenty of evidence that Cassie Coetzee has a rally heritage. After falling behind the top runners, Coetzee was going all out to make up for lost ground. The likeable Cassie was displaying the car control that made him one of South Africa's top rally drivers. Coetzee and Leek were being buffeted around in the cab of the Toyota and were hard at work. Behind them, Alfred van Vieren and Piet Pelter had made up ground in the dealer team Toyota and were pushing as hard as they could. Wiley Harrington and Johan Gerber were still giving chase in the privately entered Toyota. The enthusiastic Harrington is a top rally navigator turned off-road driver and has also had single-seater track racing experience. Theo Coetzee and Ian Wedderburn were also having a good run in the Chevy. For Coetzee, off-road racing is a far cry from the gentle art of painting and building model cars. The first real drama of the race came at Hobhouse, which was an optional refuel point for the cars. The Schilling Thorne and Carolyn Scholthammer cars arrived at the refuel almost simultaneously, but while Schilling and Thorne made the briefest of stops, the Carolyn Scholthammer car was in for running repairs, and the lead changed hands. With Carolyn and Scholthammer still becalmed, Linton Draper and Mike Pretorius also pressed on in the Isuzu and moved into second place. Cassie Coetzee and Richard Leek took over third, with matters starting to look ominous for Carolyn and Scholthammer.
The one fuel pump's backed up. It's a scavenge pump that sucks off the float. So what's happening, the thing's flushing. So about 10 k's out here, the car was missing. We decided we'd stop and replace it now.
You'll make plenty on this section here because it's out of a top. What's he going to stop at the other one as well?
With brother Bix headed for eventual retirement, Obert Caledon was pressing on steadily and gradually moving up through the field in the single-seater race code. Approaching the hothouse refuel point, Jeremy Davies still led the motorcycle car. At the head of the car field, the race had a familiar pattern about it, with Richard Schilling and Ashley Thorne in control. With the Draper Pretorius Isuzu hit by a spate of punctures, Cassie Kutsia and Richard Leek had moved into second, but were en route to retirement. Alfred Kinferin and Piet Pelser had also run into problems, elevating Wiley Harrington and Johan Gerber to third overall, and first in Class 5. Behind the Toyota, the patient Richard Carolan had quietly moved through the field and was now in a threatening position. Embarked on their customary charge, Klaus Degener and Jeff Bell had made up 15 places to move into 8th position. Off-road regulars expected Degener to charge this a water splash, but on this occasion, discretion was the better part of valor. There was none of Ireland's exuberance where husband and wife team Arnold and Estelle Mathieu were concerned. Among the pre-race favourites, the pair ran into a string of mechanical problems that eventually forced them into the role of spectators. There were more problems too for Degener and Bell, whose charge came to an end when it took them 45 minutes to repair collapsed rear suspension.
Can't repair it. The secondary torsion has come off as well. We'll try and get that back on. At least we can ride on the secondary torsion bar.
Richard Schilling and Ashley Thorne, with the opposition in disarray, were now in complete control, with a lead of nearly 10 minutes. Next on the road was Richard Carolan, who gradually ground his way into second place, although the race car was starting to sound a little rough. Wiley Harrington and Johan Gerber had moved into third in the Toyota Hilux, but were under pressure from Linton Draper and Mike Pretorius. A fired-up Draper had the spectacular Isuzu at full stretch and was soon to move into third place. The consistent Cliff Barker and Mike Redden were heading for a top 5 finish and honours in Class 6 in the VA-powered SVM. They were being closely chased by Springhorsts and former national champions Arpi Reineke and Lucas Dreyer in the Sassel Ford, who were finally showing glimpses of their true form. Selwyn Robinson and David van der Walt had effectively killed off hopes Craig Hopkinson and Martin Spencer had of winning the production class championship. With Wilfred Wessler and Dagmar Blankner dominating Class 2, the championship honours were theirs for the taking. With Jeremy Davies no longer in the picture, back at the finish in Vetna, it was smiles and champagne for Richard Schilling and Ashley Thorne.
Lovely. Hat-trick on the roof and a hat-trick on the nationals.
A 15-minute penalty for an alleged road infringement dropped Schilling and Thorne back to third place. The top 3 results are now provisional, pending an appeal.